administration on housing. The second thought is there's no end zone dances at this stage of the game, though.
That was Howard Slacken. He runs the Citizens Housing and Planning Council, and he used to be a city planning official. And he says Adams' real legacy will be defined by Mamdani and future mayors. And it's really going to come down to how they invest in housing, along with things outside their direct control, like state policy, federal government chaos and policies, and construction costs that could either make housing more affordable or more unaffordable to build. So, yeah, we're really going to see what happens in the future and how what Mayor Mamdani and other mayors that come after, if they're able to achieve these affordable housing goals that Mayor Adams has helped lay the groundwork for.
That's WNYC's David Brand. Thank you, David.
Thanks a lot, Michael.
WNYC receives support from Symphony Space, presenting wall-to-wall Stevie Wonder. All tickets are complimentary for this all-day tribute reimagining Wonder's songbook, Saturday, November 8th from 2 to 10 p.m. Learn more at symphonyspace.org.
It's 6:51. Marketplace Morning Report is next, and then later on Morning Edition this week, some Democrats suggested they were searching for a way out of the government shutdown, but now Democratic victories at the ballot box on Tuesday have emboldened many to hold firm.
The election results were not vague. They were not unclear. They were a lightning bolt.
That story in about 15 minutes. Mid-40s right now with partly cloudy skies, partly sunny too. Wind advisory till 8 o'clock. Sunny and 53 for a high today with some strong winds, and chilly tonight down at 40 degrees in the city.
Ride in the highest of courts.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Schwab. Schwab offers investors choices like full-service wealth management, self-directed investing options, and trading on Thinkorswim. More at schwab.com.
I'm David Brancaccio in Los Angeles. Good morning to you. U.S. Supreme Court justices yesterday heard the arguments and asked questions about whether an emergency powers law from back when disco was first hitting the charts can be used by a president to overhaul international trade, plus bring in lots of money through import taxes without getting Congress to go along. Jess Braven, Supreme Court correspondent for the Wall Street Journal, listened to every word. Jess, welcome back.
Good morning.
I mean, that wasn't speed dating. It is the job of high court justices to ask tough questions, which they did. That said, what do you think was the vibe? Were justices buying what the administration side was selling?
No, they weren't. And it was interesting to hear them talk about it because, we've been going for months with a bunch of unexplained emergency orders that have largely gone the administration's way. So to hear the justices grilling Solicitor General John Sauer and really having skeptical questions about the administration's position was a reminder that the Supreme Court does take these cases one by one, and it's not a slam dunk, even for a president who has gotten so far pretty much everything he's asked for.
All right. So many issues on the table during that session. Let's listen to two justices, the Chief Justice as well as Justice Sotomayor, on a similar subject. Here's John Roberts.
The vehicle is imposition of taxes on Americans, and that has always been the core power of Congress.
And Sotomayor?
I just don't understand this argument. It's not an article. It's a congressional power, not a presidential power to tax. And you want to say tariffs are not taxes, but that's exactly what they are.
Now, Jess, this is important, right? Because we learn in civics class that Congress has the taxing power in America.
And this was really, the most telling thing for the administration's chances was trying to characterize tariffs as a diplomatic measure, a foreign policy measure that the government can use, or the president can use to pressure other countries to see things Washington's way. But the Supreme Court accepted the challenger's view that taxes are different. There may be all kinds of things that the president can do, some things more severe than tariffs, like perhaps a complete trade embargo. But taxes are different because they are about raising revenue. John Sauer insisted that raising revenue was not the point of these tariffs.
All right. And this was not just about tariffs, about trade policy, or about taxation. Let's listen to Justice Neil Gorsuch.
Congress, as a practical matter, can't get this power back once it's handed it over to the president. It's a one-way ratchet toward the gradual but continual accretion of power in the executive branch and away from the people's elected representatives.
I mean, at the heart of this, that's why so many people are paying attention, not just to figure out, how much it's going to cost to import something, right?
Well, that is right, because, we know that President Trump has a very expansive view of his own powers, but leaving Trump even out of it, Justice Gorsuch was talking about a kind of structural reality. It was even explained by, in one of the friend of the court briefs filed by a law professor, saying that if Congress is delegating its taxing power, and incidentally, even the government did not dispute that taxing is a congressional power. They just argued that under the language of the 1977 law the president invoked, Congress had delegated this authority to the president.
Jess Braven, Supreme Court correspondent for the Wall Street Journal. Thank you very much.
Hey, my pleasure, David.
Checking the numbers, Dow futures are flat at the moment. S&P and NASDAQ futures are both up by 0.1%. Bonds are up, easing the benchmark 10-year interest rate slightly, down at 4.13%. Crude oil up 0.5% right now, just under $60 a barrel in New York. Now, if you have a flight starting tomorrow, note the Trump administration is now warning they'll be cutting flights by 10% at many airports to ease congestion if the government is still shut down, with air traffic control towers short-staffed. Keep your airline's app in the foreground, right?
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Bitwarden Password Manager, designed to secure passwords from any location on any device this holiday season. Available at bitwarden.com. And by Wealth Enhancement, offering its Wealth Blueprint, a plan integrating retirement, investing, tax strategies, and more. Learn more at wealthenhancement.com/blueprint.
The Trump administration says it is working to comply with a court order to pay some food stamp benefits as soon as it can, despite the current government shutdown. With these SNAP benefits interrupted, you can now see the predicted effects at food banks in Texas, Colorado, Utah, and beyond. Marketplace's Nova Safo visited a food aid distribution operation in Fresno, California's agricultural heartland.
The line to get into the food bank is hundreds of people long, snaking along the sidewalk.
Good morning. Thank you. You're welcome. Good morning.
Stephanie Winninger, coordinator with the Central California Food Bank, is passing out laminated cards with numbers on them. It's a first-come, first-served system.
When I got here this morning at 7, the line was already wrapped around the corner. Usually, it wouldn't even hit the corner yet before the shutdown.
Within 5 minutes, she's run out of cards to give out. There are at least 100 more people in line. It's unclear whether they'll get in to get food. Among those who did make it in is 39-year-old Brandon Holm. He says he's a self-employed tattoo artist and depends on SNAP, and he's at the food bank for the first time.
We're only able to get 15 items today. I don't know how long that 15 items is going to last, and then I don't know when the SNAP benefits are actually going to come through, and so I'm going to end up having to look for more food resources.
Sitting nearby, sipping coffee and waiting for their turn to pick up food are Maria Eva Romero and Felipe Cruz. They're 81 and 73, respectively.
Venimos a que nos den comida porque no tenemos.
They say they're out of food and here because they didn't get their SNAP benefits. I asked them what they'll do if SNAP remains cut off for weeks.
Pues si nos dejan trabajar, trabajamos.
They say they'll go back to picking produce in the fields to make ends meet. In Fresno, California, I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
And in Los Angeles, I'm David Brancaccio. You're listening to the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.